This is one of the all-time greats. I don't care about the 7 losses on his career. This, as Max was telling, it reminded me during the break, this man moved up from the featherweight, for crying out loud. Flyweight, I apologize, to be the welterweight champion of the world. And Keith Thurman is a pretty damn good fighter, and Pacquiao beat him the last time they fought. July will make it 2 years since that fight. I just look at Pacquiao's age. I look at the young lion that Terence Crawford is. We're talking about one of the top 2 fighters on the planet in Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford, understand that when you say Terence Crawford is a champion, that don't mean anything. That don't mean anything to us. What means something to us is the fact that this brother one of the top 2 fighters on the planet. Now, I am a guy that's on the record. I think Canelo Alvarez is the best in the world right now. I think he's #1 pound for pound. I don't want to hear anything from anybody. Canelo is special. He's a monster, okay? Crawford's right there. Crawford's on another level, man. And I'm just looking at this right now, and Pacquiao, who I still haven't gotten over. I know he hasn't been even knocked down, let alone knocked out since. You know what I'm saying? Had a couple of losses, Mayweather, Joe Horn, and from Australia before Crawford beat him up. I get who Pacquiao is. I haven't completely gotten over the knockout at the hands of Juan Manuel Marquez, you understand, who was buffed up. I'll leave that to you. But in the end, man.
Special sauce in that fight.
Crawford is just special on an elite level. And I'm so mad that we still have. I'm calling out Al Heyman. I'm calling out Bob Arum. How can y'all not give us this Errol Spence, Terence Crawford fight?
Look, I want to say something about that first.
That's the fight we need to see.
Al Heyman and the PBC are behaving, because they have most of the best welterweights, are behaving as though that's the entire welterweight universe. And why do we need anyone else? We can make great fights, which they can among themselves. But until Spence fights Crawford, stop it. Just stop it.
We have to have that fight.
Now, but putting Spence Crawford aside for a second, just dealing with Pacquiao. Pacquiao would be, in my opinion, by the time the fight started, about a 2.5 to 1 underdog.
Okay.
You know, between 2 to 1
I agree with that. I agree with that. I agree with that.
And I would pick Terence Crawford. And by the way, Canelo has the best argument for best pound for pound in the world, but I would take Crawford. I can't prove it. It's just, if you say put me on a lie detector test. Who do you think is the best fighter in the world? I'd say Terence Crawford.
Yeah,
Now, look, and he and Spence are a 50-50 fight. That's how great Spence is. But Crawford, Pacquiao, you could be the best pound for pound. You could be a 2 to 3 to 1 favorite. That doesn't necessarily mean you win the fight. I think Crawford wins the fight. I think by the end he beats Pacquiao up, knocks him out. But Pacquiao's got chances. Because, as you said, last time he was in the ring, it was against the undefeated welterweight titleist Keith Thurman. Now, Keith Thurman may not be Terence Crawford, but he is a damn good fighter. Pacquiao went to war with Keith Thurman.
Dropped him in the first round.
Dropped
first round.
And won a decision he deserved, right? When he lost to Jeff Horn, he probably should have won that decision.
He should have won that decision. Right? He should have won that decision.
Okay.
Joe Horn didn't deserve that.
I'm reminded, Crawford switch hits. He'd go orthodox or southpaw, right?
Yeah.
Right-handed or southpaw.
Yeah.
You know who else did that, who passed away recently? Marvelous Marvin Hagler.
Of course. Yeah.
Middleweight champ of our childhoods, right? Hagler fought.
Marvelous one.
Hagler fought Roberto Duran, right? And it was his first big fight, Hagler, like against a big money name guy. And Duran was a lightweight moving up. And he was past his prime. He'd already lost some fights. Duran went Hagler 15 rounds. It was close. Hagler won, but he squeaked 5.
Yeah, but
man, when you have a great fighter, he ain't different than Marvin Hagler. When you have a great fighter like Manny Pacquiao, even if he's older, especially if he's coming off a big win, even if it's over a year ago, he can still summon that greatness for one last performance.
Okay. You're gonna get at me about this, but I'm gonna let you. When I'm on General Hospital,
Brick.
By the way, I'll be back on later this month. Last week in April, I'll be on General Hospital for 3 days, actually. Here's the deal. When I'm there, the star of the show is Maurice Bernard, who plays Sonny Corinthos. He is a huge Keith Thurman fan because he knows his boxing. And he's a huge Keith Thurman fan. I have never been, I have to confess. I respect him.
Yeah.
I think Keith Thurman is really good. But I never looked at Keith Thurman and looked at him the way I look at Crawford.
Agreed.
The way that I look at Spence. the way that I look at Canelo, the way that I look at
excellent. He ain't
Triple J.
pound for pound.
Right.
Yeah, right.
I never looked at him that way.
Okay.
That's what I mean, okay? So Pacquiao beating him, even though I knew Pacquiao could lose that fight, it's to be respected, but it ain't the same.
Time out.
It ain't the same.
Time out. I agree with
Go
you.
ahead. Okay.
Crawford
Okay.
never beat a welterweight as good as Keith Thurman.
I understand that, but Paul, he's mauled everybody that's been in his past.
Look, and here's
everybody
another thing. I'm
that's
glad
been
you brought that up.
37-0 with 28 KOs.
I'm glad you brought that
Okay.
up. When Crawford was a lightweight, he was a boxer puncher.
That's right.
Now that he's a welterweight, he's a
puncher boxer. Yes, he is.
He will take
Because he
more
wants to
risks.
show.
And he's punching he's sitting down on his punches. But if you're a puncher boxer now and you're fighting Manny Pacquiao, that also gives Pacquiao more chances.
Yeah, but I don't think Crawford would do that with him because he knows that Pacquiao's a one-dimensional fighter. He's coming. He's coming. He's elite, phenomenal, Hall of Famer, but he's coming. And so if you Terence Crawford, you can turn back into the boxer puncher. You don't have to be the puncher boxer because that ain't what it's going to require, Max.
Maybe not until late in the fight, and then you turn into a puncher boxer and knock him out.
Okay.
Look, I think you and I probably see this fight similarly in terms of who wins and the result and around when and all that stuff.
Okay.
The difference is you're saying Pacquiao don't have a chance
Against him.
Pacquiao has a chance against any welterweight. Even Floyd said that was a tough fight.
Yeah, okay, whatever. The point is that when you look at Pacquiao's great. I know this. He's aged. We get that. I'm saying this because of Crawford, not because I see Pacquiao. I'm just saying Crawford he's at another level, man.
Yep. By the way, let it go the distance, and a popular fighter like Pacquiao does just enough.
Okay.
And maybe the decision could go the other way. I'm just saying there's a chance.
I love Pacquiao, and I'm scared he's going to get knocked out. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.